The year 2020 was the original entry into service date of the Boeing 777X. Announced in 2013, the project has experienced numerous delays and problems, pushing back the date to 2025, with Tim Clark, president of Emirates, who have placed a massive order for 205 units, has predicted that it would be pushed back again to 2026, and that's exactly what's happened. So then, why is the Boeing 777X taking so long? Let me explain. I'm going to break this video down into 4 main reasons as to why the 777X continues to be delayed. But before we get there, YouTube is telling me that only a tiny fraction of my viewers are subscribed. Make sure to do so if you want to see more like this. It really helps my channel. Thanks. And now let's get back to the video. The first factor is the engines, as you've most likely heard. The engine in question is the GE9X, developed especially for the 777X program by GE Aerospace. According to GE, it is the largest and most powerful commercial jet engine in production, producing a maximum thrust of 134,000 pounds. I say in production because although the Rolls-Royce Ultrafan is bigger, it is only a demonstrator. The GE9X has a fan diameter of just over 11 feet, almost the same diameter of a 737 fuselage. The high bypass ratio of 10:1, the high pressure ratio of 60:1, and the many advanced composite materials used in the design means the engine delivers a 10% fuel burn advantage over its predecessors, the GE90, which powers the 777, and the GE9X, which powers the Dreamliner. However, the first problem with the engine is durability problems. During testing in 2019, GE discovered an issue with the engine's high-pressure compressor, which meant a specific part needed to be redesigned, which led to a 6-month delay for the program. The second problem, which was discovered by engineers carrying out a routine post-flight inspection, discovered that the engine thrust linkage on one of the flight test vehicles was completely severed. A thrust linkage is a key structural component which transfers power from the engine to the airframe. This is definitely not a component that you want to break. Sure, Boeing halted testing and replaced the part, which could be easily replaced with a new one. Job done, right? Well, no. You see, after further inspection of all of the flight test fleet, every single one of the 4 777X test planes had the same issue, with the other thrust linkages being either cracked or fractured. The good news is that the issue was found before it went into service, but considering this problem is common across the entire test fleet, might suggest a design flaw, which means back to the drawing board for a solution, which means more money spent on fixing the issue, but crucially, it means the plane is stuck on the ground while the engines are fixed. The second factor contributing to the delays of the plane is the certification testing itself. Each new jet program requires a flight test vehicle and a ground test vehicle. In the case of the 777X, 2 out of the 4 are static test aircraft built for ground testing. The first part of this factor is when one of those static test aircraft was put through a pressure test. This involved subjecting the plane to pressure levels which it will never experience in its commercial life. But even so, one of the cargo doors on the aircraft blew out during the test. Does this sound familiar to you? Like the time an Alaska Airlines 737 MAX had a door plug blowout, leading to rapid decompression of the aircraft? Like I said, the 777X is never going to experience this kind of pressure, and it wasn't deemed a safety threat by the FAA. The second part of the problem is a lot more worrying. In 2018 and 2019, the 737 MAX had 2 similar crashes in 5 months, relating to Boeing's MCAS system, which aims to improve aircraft handling characteristics and decrease pitch-up tendency at elevated angles of attack. During a 777X test flight, the aircraft experienced an uncommanded pitch event, where the plane pitches up or down without the pilot's input. And as mentioned earlier, this is somewhat similar to the MCAS issues associated with the MAX. But yet another problem occurred when an engine temperature spike forced Boeing to pause testing for weeks, All of these issues suggest the 777X still has problems that need to be ironed out. If you're still watching, then consider hitting the like button, as it helps the algorithm share this video with more people like you. Reason number 3, the COVID pandemic. While the financial devastation wreaked across the globe mostly affected airlines within the aviation industry, it also caused widespread supply chain disruption across the world, affecting the production and delivery of aircraft components. This meant everything at Boeing was affected, including the 777X. The final factor in this video is about problems with the company itself and can be broken down into many parts. Let's start with the MAX problem. The pair of similar 737 crashes, which I mentioned earlier, have played a huge part in Boeing's problems over the last few years. The 777X program had to be slowed while Boeing dealt with the MAX issue. Not only were these aircraft grounded for 20 months, but the fines, compensation, and legal fees placed on Boeing amounted to an estimated $20 billion, with losses of $60 billion from canceled orders. The direct impact of this on the 777X program is increased scrutiny from the FAA, which has definitely slowed down the project. The Alaska door blowout has only increased that scrutiny. Next, we have the changes in its senior leadership team, most notably the resignation of CEO Dave Calhoun and replacement with Kelly Ortberg. This reshuffle of senior management may take some time to stabilize and might slow down the certification testing. The machinists' strike of 2024 involved more than 33,000 employees striking and only came to an end when a contract for a 40% pay rise was agreed to by both sides. The strike lasted for almost 2 months and put even more financial strain on Boeing, costing them about $5 billion and resulted in 10% of Boeing's workforce to be laid off, equating to roughly 17,000 lost jobs in an effort to preserve cash. Despite all of this, the 777X should enter service in 2026, fingers crossed. So, what do you guys think? Have I missed any reasons as to why the 777X has been constantly delayed? Make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Massive thanks to all the aviation videographers who have generously supplied excellent footage, more credits in the description. If you haven't already, subscribe for more like this, and I will see you in the next video.